So Kathy Hilton, she made the mistake of calling Lizzo precious. And I would say that was racist. I would, but in her defense, she also thought Garcelle was her sister. So I think she's just old. And as someone who is about to be 40, can tell you in the past 6 months, I forget names like an MFer. We're not going to be cursing this episode because YouTube's been acting a fool. So just put it in. But I forget everything. I will forget what I am saying mid-sentence. I forget what I do when I'm walking into a room. I think the heifer just old and forgetful.
When I saw that clip, my mouth dropped. I couldn't believe it. And I think the reason why it's so offensive is you're comparing someone like Lizzo, who's already like this A-list plus size black woman, to a character Precious, not Gabourey Sidibe, like the character Precious, who's like a destitute, down on her luck, overweight black woman. So I think that's what everyone keeps like going to. You know what I mean? That's why everyone's so offended by it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I did laugh because I was laughing in shock. I was laughing at her stupidity. I was laughing at her ignorance. I didn't
All
think.
right, now I have a question for you. What is Aunt Rachel from Family Matters' real name?
I don't know.
Exactly. We know actors by the famous characters they play, not necessarily their real names. Her real name is Thelma Hopkins, and she used to sing with Tony Orlando and Dawn. She's a very accomplished singer as well as an actress, but a lot of people don't know that. Like, we know some actresses and actors by their real names, but some of them we identify as their characters. All the people from Friends, half the world does not know their real names, but they know that haircut is the Rachel.
You're right. I'm just saying that I'm not about to go into the whole like racist territory. I'm not about to like boycott Bravo. I'm not about to boycott the Real Housewives. It's just if you watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you know Kathy Hilton is a nut. You know that she's in her bubble, like literally, like she's in a white woman bubble. And I'm pretty sure she didn't mean it like that, but I can see how someone can take offense to it. So, because now you have all these non Bravo watchers all like, attacking her, which, I don't care, but I'm not going to waste my time and be outraged because she's a sideshow on Bravo. So why get upset about that? It's fresh right now. It's on everybody's mind. I'm sure by like next Wednesday, everybody's gonna forget about it.
I saw the clip and I was surprised, but I also in that moment saw me trying to recall people's names, and I was like, yep, that's after 39. That is that the mind starts to go. And it really happened to me about 6 months ago where it just like I'm like, who is that? Like you start doing that snapping thing, like who you know her. You know who you is.
It just sucks because it was everyone's harping on the character Precious. If you're comparing Lizzo to Precious, like it's just not a good look at all for anybody to make that mistake. If you call any plus size black woman Precious, that's automatically an insult.
However, it is also her Oscar winning role. So,
well, Oscar nominated role. She didn't win.
Oscar nominated role, forgive me, but still, you were there. So it's a level of, yes, the character was down on her luck, but the actress, who most people knew when she got nominated as Precious, people called her Precious for a long time because we know our actors through our characters. It was also an incredible triumph for her and was the beginning of a beautiful career. I see it from both sides. I was a theater major in school, and if I had had a role that might have been, down and out, like let's say Pookie, Chris Rock's Pookie from, you see, and I already can't remember it. It wasn't Harlem Nights. It was the other.
New Jack City.
New Jack City. You see, that's why I forgive her, because I'm the same thing.
Right.
I was like, oh, that was a me moment. That's what happens when the mind starts to go. But he was known as his character as Pookie from New Jack City for a while. before he was known as the comedian Chris Rock, because that was one of his breakout roles.
I get what you're saying. It's just she's the type of white woman that just think all black people look alike. I'm not defending her. I'm just saying that it doesn't make sense to get all riled up about it.
I agree. And also, how many of us has mistaken Andy McDowell for Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
Yeah, but still, like the character, that's the problem. Like the character that they're comparing Lizzo to.
I understand. I get it because they don't look alike, but I also can, with my age, see like, oh, you sometimes just forget things, you confuse people. And she also, and also because she confused Garcelle for her own sister. Let's not forget that. She confused a whole black woman that is 6 inches taller than her sister for her sister. That mind is gone.
And she did it with Cherie. She was like, oh, hey, girl, like, how are you? And she was like, I don't think we've met, Kathy. Oh, I don't forget her face.
I think that her and Cherie have met because Hollywood is small and they swim in the same circles. I could see them having been at the same party and being introduced to each other. Like, it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility for me.
Kathy Hilton is a combination of Kim Richards and Martha Stewart.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
When I grow up, I want to be Kathy Hilton.
And bless Crystal's heart, she tried to save her and just like, but Lizzo, she is precious. That's what she meant. She's precious. And Kathy Hilton didn't even catch that. She doubled down. She's like, well, that's how I know her as precious. I know her as precious. Oh, I just wish she would have said Gabourey Sidibe. Oh my God.
I mean, we can use Deborah Messing, for example. Everybody calls her Grace. And she's like, that's perfectly fine. I am known from being Grace from Will and Grace. You don't have to know my real name. That's what you're going to walk up to the street and call me on. And I'm honored that you know me as that.
Right. Just the thing is, like, Grace wasn't a crackhead or like, you know, a prostitution whore on the street. You know,
I'm sorry. I don't think you watched the show.
You think Grace was a crackhead on Will and Grace?
Here's the thing. She didn't have to be a crackhead. She was nutty boo enough without any drugs. I mean, think about how many people know Alfre Woodard from Holiday Heart.
Oh, no.
At that moment.
Yeah. Like if they called her that name, then that would kind of be offensive, you know? So
I'm going to say no, because if I, as an actor, choose to take that role, then I'm fine with it. I don't mind playing this person. I don't look at that as an insult. If I played a crackhead and I played the hell out of it, Halle Berry in Losing Isaiah, just because it's not a perfect story that's being told, sometimes we do have to tell stories of trauma and grief and addiction, because those things are a part of our reality.
Well, two different point of views. We shall see, you know, what Kathy Hilton is like on the upcoming episodes, because I'm ready to see what she said. Did she say the N word? Did she say the F words? They said she said something. Anywho, the other day, Angela Yee made a cryptic post about the Breakfast Club is over as you know it. And then the next day, she announced that actually the Breakfast Club isn't going anywhere. It's just her that's going somewhere. She's been offered her own show that's going to be nationally syndicated, and they're going to be replacing her. Now, let's unpack that. I was a little excited the Breakfast Club was going to be over. I mean, it's just like a radio version of the Shade Room. I didn't care. And then when she said she had her own show, I cared even less.
I mean, I'm glad that she has her own show, so I'll know what not to watch.
Okay, I was like confused at first. I was like, are you okay? Because you can't stand Angela Yee.
Now, I can't stand Angela Yee, but it doesn't mean I don't want her to be successful. I can dislike you and still want the best for you at the same time.
Like how I feel about Amanda Seales. And speaking of which...
Bye!
And speaking of which, I was
wondering... my God! Wait, hold on. Let me enjoy the joke. That was good.
And speaking of which, I was wondering who would replace Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club. And I was thinking Amanda Seales. I could see them asking her, but she wouldn't move back to New York. I can't see that.
Ain't
And then
nobody
someone
moving.
else said Angela Rye, and I was like, I could see that too.
I don't see Angela Rye being a good fit because she's too intelligent. I could see, what's her name?
Amanda Seales.
There we go. You see, it's gone. I could see her trying to be a good fit, but she's been trying to shoehorn her way into life for a minute.
And everything she's been a part of has not been a great experience, like from Insecure to The Real.
People enjoy firing Amanda Seales. People enjoy showing her the door.
Well, she's a serial arsonist by how many bridges she's burned.
Case in point.
So we talked about Beyonce last week, but it's confirmed she had the #1 album and the #1 single at the same damn time. That remix with Madonna, I enjoyed it surprisingly. It was everything.
I did too. And I love the shout out. I love the camaraderie. I love the respect because we got to give Madonna her due. We got to give Madonna her due. She paved the way for 90% of the pop stars. Her and Janet, and I will even give the mute her due. Her and Janet are Beyonce's blueprint. She said as much. So I'm not saying anything she hasn't said. And I loved it. And also knowing the history behind Vogue, knowing that it was a celebration of gay Black men and gay Black culture. I don't think there's a person to do the remix better than her. And I enjoyed it very well myself.
I feel like I should just leave it at that before you change your mind.
Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Let me tell you how I take care of my mind. Sometimes I just unplug. I don't watch reality shows. I don't get on social media. I don't do anything. I just leave the world alone and hang out with my friends. But BetterHelp Online Therapy is another way that I take care of my mind. If our mind isn't right, our life isn't right. Our house isn't in order. I started using BetterHelp Therapy 2 years ago, and it really, truly helped. I've been able to go on, pick a therapist that was specific to the needs that I had, and I started my sessions within 24 hours. BetterHelp is online therapy that you can do over the phone or with video chat. You never have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room and worry about other people knowing your business. And it's much more affordable than in-person therapy. And again, you can be matched with your therapist in under 48 hours.
And for all our Pop Roast listeners, you get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/roast. That's betterhelp.com/roast.
Now, this topic brings me as much joy as my new beautiful nail color, which also matches the shirt.
You have a new nail color every episode now.
I'm actually going to be starting the cuticle hour where we paint our nails, oil our cuticles, and talk about the gossip, but we'll get to that later. Right now, we have to talk about, and I don't think you'll understand how much this makes my heart sing. Nicki Minaj says a store cashier told her they liked her old school music while mistaking her for Trina. That's a deep belly laugh. She was mistaken for Trina. I wish I was there. I wish I was there. I would have bought a plane ticket. I am so mad. I would have paid $475 to watch that.
I mean, at least she wasn't mistaken for Lil' Kim.
I think being mistaken for Trina is worse because Trina is forgettable. Lil' Kim is the blueprint Nicki Minaj went after.
Yeah,
see, they knew she wasn't Lil' Kim. Nobody knows what a Trina is.
Oh, let's not do that to Trina. Trina is an icon.
And I cannot. That I will say that she made a career off of 2 hits. She made a career out of being a one-hit wonder. She, like Nicki Christie, has the folds and the flaps and the fat on her neck where I can count the 50 years of age she is, but she is still out here getting on stage in clothing that is too small and too ill-fitting and still trying to be a hoe. So you know what? Hey, if that's the life she wants to live, congratulations to you and your small one-bedroom condo in Miami.
All comments said by Alexander Diane Rodgers is for Alexander Diane Rodgers and only Alexander Diane Rodgers. Just saying. And speaking of Nicki Minaj, she is supposed to receive the MTV Video Vanguard Award. And when I saw that, immediately I thought, is that who they gave it to? They could have gave it to somebody else. I get it. Nicki has been in the game for a while, but Video Vanguard. Now, what video of Nicki Minaj's is iconic? That's what I want to know. Like, she's not known for her videos. She's known for her lyrics. Like, she's known for like her personality. Like, I wouldn't say she's known for her music videos.
She's known for a cheap bang. That's what she's known for. She is known for the bang that'll end up messing up the skin on your forehead because you're going to get pimples if you wear that crap. That's what I know her for. I know her for crappy extensions. I know her for... Actually, that's it. I will say, Itty Bitty Piggy, she did her thing. She did her thing on Itty Bitty Piggy. I will give her that. Give that bitch a quarter and a car, tell her park it. That was a lyric. That was a moment. I will give her that, but no more. In the words of Elektra, a second banana, but no more.
I think it's calculated on MTV's part. They just want to make sure people watch the award show and they know she has a devout fan base. I can think of so many other people who kind of deserve that award.
They've given it to everybody. They've given it to Beyonce. They've given it to Missy. They've given it to Janet. They gave it to Taylor Swift, and we don't know why they gave them, but they was running low. So yeah, it's like, well, now I guess you got to give one to Nicki because you ain't got any more stars to actually get it. I think even Justin Timberlake has one.
He does have one, but I'm just like, they could give it to Drake. I mean, at this point,
they got to save him for next year.
Probably. I guess I shouldn't even care because it's just a ratings grab trying to get people to watch.
I have a question. When was the last time you watched MTV? Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think, like, there was like a rerun of some old show on, but the only thing that plays on there is like Ridiculousness and Wildin' Out. So MTV ain't what it used to be.
I mean, we used to watch videos on MTV. Now we watch them on YouTube.
And anything on MTV I want to watch, I can watch it on Paramount.
Right.
But I'm going to watch it just to see, see if she can perform, without losing her breath or whatever, and see if she has some stage presence. Congratulations to her. I just thought, like, interesting. Video Vanguard, an award for an achievement in iconic music videos. But okay. Congratulations, Barbs. I would have given it to Cardi before that. I mean, we're talking about videos.
Now, I will say one of Cardi's videos that I feel was overlooked was her video for Press. That video, I was like, oh, wow, you really did your thing. That was really some artistry.
Yeah, I mean, Cardi actually puts thought in her videos,
In other music news, Irv Gotti claims things went bad with Ashanti after she, quote unquote, ran like a cockroach during his 2005 arrest. I'm sorry, a Black woman said, oh, there's bull involved, and she left. What of it? She made a smart decision to save her career, to save her brand. She had a whole bunch of acting gigs. She actually is a good actress. She was in one of my favorite movies, Resident Evil 3. She was the nurse. She ended up dying because she got attacked by the murderous crows that had been infected by the T-virus. But, you're in a horror movie. You're going to die. That's part of it. She had a good death scene. And as an actor, a death scene is something that you really work hard to do. But she lost so many opportunities because of you. Of course she left.
Yeah, and I think she had to re-record her first album because she wasn't making any money from her first one.
So, but fortunately, she wrote all of J-Lo's hits, so she gets money from that. And then she sung half of J-Lo's songs, so she gets money from that.
That too. Irv Gotti, he's been on like a little press run because I think there's like a Murder Inc. documentary coming up. So he's been like kissing and telling with Ashanti and like saying like how they messed around. And they messed around when Irv Gotti was definitely married. And this happened almost 20 years ago. So I'm not sure why he's bringing this up. He's been dragging her name. I'm just like, can you leave her alone?
Ashanti writes other people's music and minds her business. Ashanti ain't done nothing to nobody. All Ashanti does is be pretty and sing well.
Could you imagine if someone just brought up your whole behavior from 20 years ago?
Well, I would be proud. I'd say you know my whole behavior. I've told you about my whole behavior. I'm now at the age where I'd be like, sit down, you young hoes. Let me tell you how to do it. I'll cross my legs and I will kick this leg up and cross it, putting my fingers just like this. Oh yeah, I was a hoe. Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe. I'm admitting it. I won't take it back because I did the shit. I was a hoe, and I was a good one. I knew how to sell intimacy and true love.
And there you have it. I'm on Ashanti's side. I mean, I might check out this Murder Inc. documentary because it was almost like a little rise and fall too. I think when the FBI was involved, the whole thing just collapsed like a house of cards.
They are one of the few people that the FBI have raided, and there was no there. Like Irv never went to jail. Nobody really went to jail. They knew how to do the illegal things that they were doing. I'm not saying they were doing illegal things, but it seemed that way to me. But also, if you know how to do it, you also know how to get away with it. I think they knew how to get away with it. That is the one time when the FBI and the IRS, because you know the IRS comes right after the FBI. The FBI kicks the door in, the IRS comes in after. And nobody's in jail for 20 years. He's not giving this interview from prison. So they know what they were doing.
Continuing music news, Normani is fed up. She is so fed up of people trying to hold her accountable. And these people that are trying to hold her accountable are her own fans. The comments come amid fan frustration over Normani's music release schedule. The singer has yet to share a release date for her debut album. Since releasing her solo debut single, Motivation, in 2019, Normani has delivered 2 solo tracks, Wild Side featuring Cardi B in 2021 and Fair in March of this year. So then the tweet said, what happens when you've gotten comfortable and you're not hungry anymore? And Normani told him, just shut the fuck up. Like, she's tired.
Hold on, she released Motivation in 2019. Since that time, I have survived a world pandemic. I have moved across the country. I have kept these shows going, both Pop Roast showing up every week and the other channel. And she still hasn't come out with an album?
I don't know. Maybe it's her label. I'm gonna blame her label.
How many songs have I put out since 2019? How many little ditties have I written? Let's see. We've got cocaine. You know it might mess up your brain. And then we've got Weekend Mom. Because you don't see kids on the weekday. She is a weekend mom. So wait, hold on. So I've got 2 hits to her 2 hits. I ain't got a label. I ain't got a studio. I ain't got shit but my voice and an internet connection. And I have released more music than her. That's a problem.
I think she did it to herself. I mean, I think at one point it's her label, and then another point it's like, okay, stop giving your fans hope that they're going to get an album within the year. Like, you're not Rihanna. Like, you don't even have one album out. So I don't know. She needs to be more forthright of what's going on. Because when we see you like rubbing shoulders with celebrities and you going to all these fashion shows, we're like, why aren't you in the studio, like making music like you said you were? So I think that's where the frustration comes from. It's like, okay, do you want to be a socialite or do you want to be an artist?
I think she probably makes more money being a socialite. I mean, look at Rihanna. Rihanna started selling that makeup and she said, fuck that music.
I agree. You know, ain't no money to be made in music. Ask Khalees.
Ah!
And that's no shade.
But true tea.
Moving on. Do we give a shit about Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian breaking up?
Yes, we do, because now I can date him.
You know he's only 28.
I don't care.
Like
He is the type of guy I would go for. He's tall, he's thin, he's a comedian, so we would have that going on. We're both New Yorkers.
it must be big because I'm like he has. Had,
I can tell it's 7.5 if it's an inch.
I don't know. I just don't find him attractive one bit. But maybe it's like his personality as well as the D.
We're comedians, so we would get that.
But yeah, I could care less about Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson breaking up. I was just saying, like,
Did we ever think Kim Kardashian was going to marry a white man?
that's true because she can't really use him for anything, right?
Well, I mean, she's Kim Kardashian. She doesn't need anything from anyone. She has more money than God. There is nothing on earth you can buy her. There's nothing on earth that you can do for her that she cannot do for herself.
Well, she has more money than God because she sucked the life out of Black culture like a big tick, So she's coming out with skin tone beats in different shades of
The
black.
headphones?
Yeah.
I never would need my headphones to match my skin. I actually like them to be like bright colors so I can find them.
Hey. Also, what's going on with Kevin Federline and Britney Spears? Like, I would have never thought you'd be talking about this in 2022, but it makes sense because the child support is almost up. And that's why he's been talking to the press. He came out and said she hasn't seen her boys in months, and it's because the boys don't want to see her. Britney was clapping back, of course, saying, like, where's this coming from? He was getting $20,000 a month for those boys. Could you imagine $20,000 a month? So, yeah, I get it.
Well, I would say you've been getting that for a good decade. So let's see. You've been getting, let's do, in the words of T-Bob, and I'm sorry, in the word, shit, you see this, there's the memory going again.
Left eye.
Yes. In the word, leave that in. That's why I forgive Kathy Hilton, because I do the same shit. In the words of Left Eye, let's do our math. I'm going to pull up my calculator app right now.
Was he really getting $20,000 for 20 years? Not 20 years.
For 18 years. I mean, think about it.
18 years. Do 18 years.
20,000. Well, actually, let's do. He got custody of the kids when they were like 5. So he's made $3 million tax-free. If you haven't, and she already had to buy him a house, she's already paid for the car, she already pays for the kids' health insurance. So that's just cash that he's gotten. Just cash. If you can't make it work with $3 million, well, you're stupid.
I agree.
We making it work with a hell of a lot less than that. Have you seen $1 million? I haven't.
I don't think a lot of us haven't. Federline said the teens were embarrassed by their mother's Instagram posts. He said the boys have decided they are not seeing her right now. It's been a few months since they've seen her. They made the decision not to go to her wedding. And also, he just dropped like videos of the boys recording Britney Spears scolding them. Black people saw that. They were like, she was just being a mom. Like, you're going to respect your mom. You're not going to go in a store barefoot. You're not going to talk to your mom any kind of way. So it was just weird. Like, they dropped 3 videos of her scolding the boys. I'm like, okay.
She's a mom. She scolds her children. I was scolded. I'm sure you were scolded at times. I am upset for her that people are putting her business in the streets, because every mom deserves to be able to parent the way she sees fit. She's not abusing them. She's not neglecting them. She's paid your father $3 million. She's done everything. And I'm sure you're going to the best schools. I'm sure you're in the best school district in the country. Let's not. And also, when she goes, she's going to leave you her catalog. You will never understand what working a day in your life is, while she has slaved and toiled for years since she was a child on the Disney Channel? That woman has never known peace. She's been supporting her entire family, all of her life, all of her childhood life, all of her adult life. Everybody has eaten off of her.
I agree, and she should post as many nudes as she wants, even though it makes me uncomfortable a little bit. Hey, it's her life, it's her body, her choice.
And also, they aren't bad nudes. The woman looks amazing. If I had that body, I'd be posting more thirst traps too.
I can see the boys' point if they're embarrassed of their mom posting nudes like that, because kids are cruel. Like they go to high school.
Your mom is Britney Spears. You have already heard every joke. You have already heard everything about her. Like, if the woman wants to take a cute picture on Instagram and show off, hey, I'm about to be 40, like Rihanna. Now, Rihanna, when she showed up to that ball in that gown where she didn't have anything on, and she said, yes, I wanted to show my body off before my tits fell. She's like, I know they're going to hit, and this is her quote. She's like, I know they're going to hit the ground at some point, so let's celebrate them now while they're still up.
Hey, for those boys, my recommendation for them would be if somebody was like teasing them, I'd be like, okay, well, who's your mom? A nobody. Okay. Seriously, my mom is a pop legend. What did your mom do?
What was your mom doing at 16? Nothing.
Right. She was probably on her back, and that's how you're here.
Ooh.
Like something, like you got to be ready in high school, with the clapbacks. We called it ribbing back in the day. I'm not sure if like y'all call it the dozens. Like,
I was gonna say it was the dozens for us.
Oh, okay.
It was the dozens for us. We would play the Dirty Dozens, and I actually was playing the Dirty Dozens like 2 weeks ago with one of my friends here, and Brian looked at me. He was like, "Oh, you're being very cruel." And I'm like, no, it's like you don't understand. We're joking. We're joking. My friend here, Connor, looks like Janet Jackson, and so we just started playing the dozens. And
you have a friend that looks like Janet Jackson?
I'm going to send you a picture of him. Yes.
And he's a guy that looks like Janet Jackson.
Yeah, yes. He is a beautiful Black man who looks like Janet Jackson. He is probably your Brian's complexion, but like he's got her eyes, he's got the nose that she wanted to get, but the surgeons messed up on. Like, he is the spitting image of Janet.
Does he do drag?
No.
He just looks like Janet. Okay.
I will send you his picture and you'll be like, yep.
Do you tell him that Janet story all the time? Or
yes.
How many times do you say that Janet Jackson story a week?
Whenever she comes up.
Okay.
Whenever she comes up, I let people speak, and then I'm like, well, I have a Janet Jackson story too. So when my friend Maddie Rance came to visit me in New York, Janet sent out this.
Okay, so we're not gonna. Yeah, we get it. We get it. So
actually, I haven't told it on the show for a while,
and let's keep it that way. Next up, Carlos King is annoying. That's what I have written here. Carlos King is annoying. His new episode on his podcast is saying, Atlanta, we have a problem. So right now, he isn't enjoying the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think he's talking about the cabin episode where they were in the parking lot for like 2.5, 3 hours. That was a terrible episode, but I'm just like, can he just rename his podcast? I don't know, the King of Real Housewives of Atlanta, or like he needs to start recapping the show like us. Because what else does he have to talk about?
I mean, if I were Carlos King, I would be worried about my failing franchise on OWN and the late night show that I started that no one wants to watch. That's what I would be concerned with if I was him. I would also be concerned with knowing how to enunciate, because he can't even properly pronounce his words. It is Atlanta, not Atlanta. Atlanta. You see, he can't even put the tongue at the roof of his mouth to pronounce his T's properly. I'd be concerned about that. I would be worried about being a 57-year-old man with a speech impediment.
I just think he just talks so much about Bravo content. I'm like, sir, how are you the king of reality shows you don't own,
And he's afraid to have me on his show. And I'm like, why won't you have someone on that will actually spar with you? Because when I come on your show, I'll still say, I'm sorry, I'm going to need you to pronounce it Atlanta. I'm going to need you to use your T's when you speak with me. I'm going to need you to enunciate. I think I would actually have to put a cork in his mouth before we shot the show so he could, get the enunciation going and learn how to use that thick tongue.
It's just weird now. He's like literally critiquing Atlanta, Potomac, Married to Medicine.
And why do you care about shows you are not getting residuals from? You no longer work there. You said you left on your own accord, right? And this is why I still believe. Now, I'm not saying it's the truth, and I'm not saying it's written in the Bible. Don't blame, don't sue, allegedly. But I believe he got kicked out of Bravo for telling Phaedra that lie about Kandi Burruss and her husband trying to do something untoward. I don't think he left on his own accord. I think he's had a decent bounce back, but you still are hungry. You still are craving to work for Bravo. And the truth is, he wants to be Andy Cohen so bad, it's sickening. All he wants to be is Andy Cohen. If he could jump in Andy Cohen's skin right now, I'm telling you, at least I can say, I may not be where I want to be in life, but at least I don't want to be nobody else. Well, Dominique Devereaux. I'll give you that. I would want to be Dominique Devereaux. But I know that ain't going to happen, so I'm just going to have to be the best me I can.
I hear that. But what do you think about Atlanta before we close the show out? Not the city, the show. We already know how you feel about the city of Atlanta.
Well, I like Atlanta. I just don't like that they tell you business. This season has been rough. Marlo put the season on her back, but then like them kids, she dropped them off. So, I mean, we've got Drew, who's also trying to be relevant, to have a point and a purpose. I don't think she's found it. You have Sheree. No. Just no. Kandi.
Mrs. Worldwide.
Huh?
Mrs. Worldwide. Like, bitch, I'm worldwide. You didn't see the last episode?
No.
Oh, okay. So she just had a new catchphrase when her and Marlo really got at it.
Oh, Kandi is worldwide.
She is. And like, she honked the horn on that ass. And Todd honked the horn on that ass too.
Kandi, I love you. I love what you do for our community. I love that you are getting Black actors on Broadway. I feel that you have now outgrown Real Housewives of Atlanta. I want to watch you on Kandi and the Gang, but you're doing so many advertisements during the show. It's like, and now a word from our sponsors whenever we see you.
She even has t-shirts now that say, bitch, I'm worldwide.
Good.
Like, everything's a money grab.
Well, she knows how to play the game. Now, meanwhile, Sheree is still out here trying to get her brand off the ground. And on that note, I will see you sooner than you see She by Sheree.
And I'll see you sooner than Kathy Hilton puts her foot in her mouth again.